Good morning. So, I quit my 6-figure job in Japan around 5 months ago without much of a backup plan, and today I want to show you how it's really like to be without a job in this country. I'm eating oatmeal with apple and cinnamon quick breakfast. If you're new here, my name is Mako. I'm from the west side of Japan, but I went to university in California. Best decision ever, by the way. And I moved to Tokyo to start my full-time career in 2019. I worked so hard to climb up the corporate ladder for 4 years just to realize that this is not it. And 5 months ago, I quit and left everything I thought I ever wanted. And today, I want to share how my day looks like and show you the realistic view of how it's really like to quit 9 to 5 in Japan. But first thing first, we're gonna jump right into it and talk about money. So before quitting, I looked at all the cost of living and all the tax I'm gonna have to pay to make sure I had enough money to live without income for a couple of years. Did it help with my money anxiety? Yes. Is money anxiety completely gone? Absolutely not. The good news is that my boyfriend and I moved out of Tokyo before I quit my job, so our cost of living significantly went down. Our rent together is less than $1,000 a month, and we rarely go out to drink. We usually buy groceries and cook at home, so we don't really eat out. Of course, occasionally we do eat out, but generally speaking, restaurants in Japan are very affordable, so even when we eat out, we rarely spend more than $30 each to eat dinner at a restaurant. People who live around here are very laid back and they literally walk around in flip-flops all year. So I think being in this environment really helps as well. If I live in a fancy apartment in Tokyo surrounded by people who are wearing like expensive clothes all day every day, then I might feel like I need to look certain way. The bad news is that I went on a Europe trip for a month after I quit my job, and I did spend a little bit more money than I should have spent. Was it worth it? Absolutely yes, but it did still affect my bank account. Another thing is that although I knew I'm gonna have to pay all these taxes, it still doesn't feel good to look at a bank account that only goes down. I'm fortunate enough to have so many things I want to do in my life, and one of them is to be able to make enough money on YouTube. But obviously, as you can see right now, I don't make any money. So what I'm doing is try to keep the operational cost as low as possible. So I have 2 channels. I was trying to revive my old dead YouTube channel for a long time, but it was just not working. So I decided to have a fresh start here, and I have a Japanese channel that is focusing on wellness and self-care. So I have those 2 channels. In terms of operational cost, initially I bought this camera and microphone because I have iPhone 12 and it didn't have enough storage, and getting a new iPhone was more expensive than getting this camera. So I bought this camera, but I use a free editing software called DaVinci Resolve, and I try to avoid using subscription services like Epidemic Sounds to keep the cost as low as possible. So I try to do yoga every day. I think having a small accomplishment in the morning makes a huge difference in the day. And also sitting in front of a monitor and editing all day doesn't do any good on my back or shoulders. So this is like the least I can do for my body. So, how does Japanese people think about quitting 9 to 5? In Japan, it's very uncommon to quit 9 to 5 job. There are so many popular Japanese YouTube videos about being shachiku, meaning being a corporate slave. It's like a whole new niche community on YouTube talking about being a corporate slave. So when I tell people that I quit my 9 to 5 job without having much of a plan, people get really confused. Of course, my family doesn't understand either, so every time I talk to them, they ask me when I'm getting a job. And I'm still struggling to figure out how to deal with this because I love my family, I want to talk to them, but the fact that they ask me those questions every time I talk to them makes me want to avoid talking to them because I don't want to feel the pressure and I don't want to be asked every time. So I'm still struggling to deal with this problem. One thing that really helped me is that I was fortunate enough to find a community of people who are supportive of me. Those people really make a difference in your life, especially when it feels like the whole world is against you. So next, I want to talk about my identity, but before that, I want to do a little shopping. I want to take you guys with me. So I just got changed and put on a little bit of makeup, and I'm gonna be headed to the supermarket. I need to get some winter skincare, and I also need to see if I can find body scrub and body soap because I ran out of them. And also I'm thinking to buy a bento box because this filming is taking so much longer than I thought, and I don't think I have time to cook for lunch today. So I'll see what I can find, and I'll see you guys at the supermarket. I realized this only after quitting, but leaving your 9 to 5 job means you're letting one of your identities go. If you think about it, when you introduce yourself, you say your name, and the second thing people usually ask you is, what do you do? Where do you work? And right now, I don't have the answer to the question, so I usually say I'm unemployed with hesitation. I know I should be more comfortable and confident with my new identity, but it's really difficult when you live in a conservative society like Japan. In this country, job is one of the biggest identities that a person can hold. I hope that someday I can confidently say that I'm a content creator or whatever I evolve to be. But for now, I'm still learning to be more comfortable with my new identity. So I just came back from shopping. I bought this natomaki roll and grilled fish bento. I really like this kind of fish. It's called booty. I don't know how to say in English, but I really like it, so I got this bento. So before I decided to quit my job, I was worried that without a job, I will not have that 9 a.m. meeting that I need to wake up to. Not that I like the meetings, but it still gave me a purpose and reason for me to wake up to and show up to. And I was worried that without those purposes and reasons that company gives you, I'm gonna be too lazy to do anything all day and my life is gonna be super disorganized. But the reality is that I have the exact opposite problem. YouTube is my passion and I love making videos. So I have so many things I want to do in a day that oftentimes I put way too many to-do lists in one day. And I'm constantly wondering why we only have 24 hours a day and how I can get more and more things done in one day. And even though I've never had a major burnout yet, I know that I eventually will if I continue this way. And I really need to find a schedule and mindset that is sustainable so that I can keep making videos like this. So if you're considering to quit your 9 to 5 job, I highly recommend you to read this book called Pathless Path. I think this book should be like a Bible for those people who are interested in quitting 9 to 5. This is the book that gave me that one last push that I needed when I was debating about quitting or not. This book is not a how-to book filled with tips, but it's more about the author's personal journey. His journey of leaving the default path that he thought was everything he ever wanted and going on this new Pathless Path adventure. And on that journey, he decided to focus more on the work that matters to him rather than the work that makes more money for him. And it's interesting because he self-published this book, and this book already sold like 40,000 copies in 1 year. When I was reading this book, there was one part that I didn't really understand. And that is when he talked about the power of sabbatical leave, where you leave everything work-related and just focus on the vacation. Climbing the corporate ladder for 4 straight years, I didn't really understand why people would ever want to do this until I took the 1-month vacation in Europe. It was my first ever trip as an adult where I didn't need to worry about anything work related. And it kind of felt weird in the beginning, but eventually I got used to it and I started getting all these creative ideas that I probably wouldn't have gotten if I was not on this vacation. And having those thoughts really excited me and motivated me to be successful in the path that I chose. It was like getting the energy boost that I really needed.